Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the questions you guys submitted. I'm gonna make sure I answer those first. Okay, Rebella TV says, "How do I handle my stocks when the depression hits with $5,000 in the bank? Splitting stocks, savings, and spending. If the dollar collapses, banks lose funds. Will I be able to access them the same way?" Well, if the dollar collapses and the economy falls apart, then you're right. You probably would have trouble accessing your resources like you did before. But one thing I can just tell you is that that hasn't actually happened since the Great Depression. Maybe 90 years ago. Anything's possible, right? So that's why maybe you might diversify. Maybe you might put some assets in places that are not all in the same bank, or maybe have different brokerage accounts, or maybe actually own some real property if you can, or that, I mean, that's really kind of, or maybe, I mean, you could just keep cash, or you could buy some precious metals and have them in your house. But truth is that that's kind of a doomsday scenario, and I'm not going to say it couldn't happen. I'm just going to say that it doesn't usually happen. I'll tell you, if that type of depression hits where the dollar has no value, then we have bigger problems than just what happened to my savings account, because the money that you had before wouldn't necessarily mean a whole lot. It'd be about a matter of just getting food and medicine and water and things like that, as opposed to this other stuff that a lot of us, think about and worry about. So I personally would not sit around just thinking about doomsday scenarios. I could always be wrong, but the problem with investing a lot of times is that there are a lot of people who focus only on doomsday scenarios, and while you're waiting for the world to come to an end, there are people who are doing well in the world that exists, right? So I would just invest, diversify, spread your money out, and keep yourself as safe as possible. All right, El Haj, any recommendations on a solid sales team to find qualified clients for my business? I can't think of anything, but there are services out there that will offer that. So maybe Googling that might be a good way to go. That's what I would think about doing. I would just Google it and see what's out there. Let's see. Valjean says, "Hi, I signed up for the Black Business School. I want to learn how to trade options. What classes do you provide to provide that for me? I thought I was putting money into that program for the options trading." Okay. Yeah, we do have an options program, blackoptionsinvesting.com. That's blackoptionsinvesting.com, blackoptionsinvesting.com. I'll say that 3 times. Feel free to go take a look. If you sign up for any program, I think that program the first month is $1. But if you want to cut that discount and do a different one, you can. If you use the code word Dr. Boyce, you can get 20% off this month and every month for all the programs you sign up for. So feel free to use the code Dr. Boyce, one word. If you have any issues trying to get in, or any issues with anything in the Black Business School, excuse me, we have a great support team that you can go talk to, and the support team is extraordinary, and they will help you, and they are wonderful, and they will make sure that you are good. How do I invest in cryptocurrency? Which platform to use? A lot of people like Coinbase. Coinbase is Americanized. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, and it's straightforward to use. So I would look into Coinbase. Um, let's see here. Corey says, "I've already enrolled in the Black Business School. Is there an additional charge for the investment club? Because I want to sign up for the $5 a day investment plan." No, there is no cost to sign up for the $5 a day investment plan. The $5 a day investment plan is really free to anybody. If Let me see if I can find the link, and maybe I can just share it with you guys. I should just get a URL or something that it directs me to, but I own too many URLs. So let me see if I can literally dig it up while I'm talking to you guys right now. So let me see here. Um, we give that away for free. The $5 a day investment plan is basically a layout that we put together for families that want to build wealth, that are a little bit afraid and don't know what to do. It's a great plan for you, because it hopefully helps you to realize that this stuff is not as hard as you might have been led to believe. Doesn't mean that it's easy. It doesn't mean I'm saying it's all a piece of cake, because one thing that's easy, some things that are easy for me might be tough for somebody else, right? So So we have to accept that. But I can tell you the benefit of me having a PhD in this stuff is that I've gone through all the complex stuff, so you don't have to. I spent years and years and years going through the complex stuff, and basically that makes it so that I can just say to you like, hey, don't worry about that, just focus on this, or hey, as long as you do this, then that takes care of this, this, and this, right? So, for example, with stock pricing, there are a lot of really complex equations that can come up. I mean, the math can get pretty ridiculous, but the thing is, why should you have to go through any of that? Like, you shouldn't have to do all that crazy math. There are things like what they call the efficient markets hypothesis and the random walk theory that kind of condense all of that and remove all of that so that I can just say, here, just do this and you should be fine. So the $5 a day plan, I put that in the chat. If you guys would like to have that. If you can't find it, you can also go to, if you email support at theblackbusinessschool.com, support at theblackbusinessschool.com, they'll have a copy of the plan. And so what I'm going to do actually is I'm literally messaging our support team right now to tell them to make sure that they all have it. So give me a second here. Okay. All right. So there you go. All right. So if you email support at theblackbusinessschool.com, not only can they help you out and answer your questions and things like that, like we have wealth specialists right there on the website that can also talk to you about what you're trying to do. But also we have the team that can actually give you the plan. So feel free to do that if that helps you. All right, am I investing in Ant Group? Ant Group is, I guess, a company from overseas, an Asian company that's about to have a mega IPO. I'm not going to invest in Ant Group because I feel like IPOs tend to get overhyped. But that does not mean Ant Group is a bad investment. It just means I'm not going to participate. Because with investing, you don't have to necessarily buy into everything that's big and talked about in the media. Media hype is kind of like, it's a little overrated. I mean, I think it can influence stock prices for sure, but there are lots of great companies out there that you haven't heard of at all, and that's where knowing how to do your research can be beneficial. So like there was this company we just ran across in class called Workhorse out of Ohio that makes electric vehicles, and that's been a really fascinating stock to own. And in the options class, we talked about how to write call options on the stock, which has actually been the greatest income driver in my ownership of the company. It's not the growth in the stock price, the capital gains. It's earning the income from the stock from writing call options. So these are things that can really benefit you in terms of finding creative ways to generate income from your stocks without necessarily having to, sell a bunch of stuff. What are some good mutual funds? Oh gosh, there's so many of them. Companies like Vanguard and stuff. There are rankings of mutual funds, but the rankings change every year. Like whatever mutual fund is number one this year isn't usually number one next year. So there's no like clear predictability. I mean, you can just kind of say that you have funds out there where they got good managers that will manage your money pretty well and keep it safe. But it's hard to really say, oh, that fund is definitely better than that one. It's really a preference thing. It's like, is a pair of green blue jeans better than a pair of red blue jeans? Well, it depends on, what your favorite color is. If you like green, then, you know what the answer is. If you like red, same thing. So I would process it kind of that way. I buy, sell, and hold land across the entire country. It is by far the best investment, says Cooking and Chef Moore. I agree with you. Very nice. Good for you. Kathy Jones, some white economists are saying that a great fall is coming to the system due to its greed and sinister behavior. Yeah, I mean, America, if you want to know if I think America's going to hell in a handbasket, then yeah, I agree. But I'm not going to sit around and just kind of wait for it because fear is a great motivator, and we've talked about this, on my when I get into my social commentary platforms, I talk about that stuff. Like fear is the easiest way to get people to move and do things, but I don't like leaning on fear. Remember, there's also like hope and possibility and desire and everything else. And if somebody is telling you that the world is coming to an end and that you should do what they say because everything's going to fall to hell, just ask yourself, when's the last time that really happened? Like, when's the last time we got to the point where our entire financial system had collapsed and every stock that you own was suddenly worthless? And I mean, it just doesn't happen. I mean, people write books about it. Those books always sell because fear sells. And I wouldn't. In fact, they have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, right? The operative word in FOMO is fear, 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 and I don't think good investors operate based solely on fear. When everybody's sitting around in fear, smart investors are making moves. What do you think about REITs? I like REITs, Frank. I think REITs are good. It's a good way to get into real estate without actually having to do it. Not everybody, that wants to invest in real estate wants to be a landlord and all this other stuff. I mean, being a landlord is, it's not that it's overly complex. Like, I'm a landlord, right? Alicia and I own some rental property, but number one, it's not our best performing asset. We got 10 things that make more money for us than real estate. We just own real estate because it's a long-term stable investment that allows for diversification. And we're going to acquire more real estate. We have a real estate holding company, but it's not like that's just the thing that's like killing it for us. It's like, things like writing call options is much easier to generate income off your investment than owning real estate, especially if you know how to find the right stocks to write the options on. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, feel free to take a look at our options class. We actually did a master class, a 6-week master class on options investing, and that was really good. And I don't have a URL for that, but we also have an options program. It's blackoptionsinvesting.com. That's blackoptionsinvesting.com. And the first month is $1, so you can try it out. And everything has a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee if you're not happy. But the reason I think options are really cool is because options are kind of like the icing on the cake for your investment. They're like the dessert. They're like the little extra bonus on your stock portfolio that allows you to do some things that you can't really do so easily if you're just owning stock. Options allow you to leverage, like you can invest a little and possibly earn a lot, or you can go in the other direction. You can take the stocks you own and earn income from those stocks with an ROI that literally obliterates the ROIs that you might earn from real estate and stuff like that. Like, I was astonished when I looked into writing call options and saw the ROI that I was earning. And it's not just theoretical. Like, this is money. This is real money that was going in the bank. Like, I saw the money go into my bank account, and that to me that's the ultimate test. Like, I'm really big on what's real and what's not. And when I saw the money actually in the account, I told Alicia, I said, this looks real. Let's try this for 6 months. Let's see what happens in 6 months. It was like month by month. So a lot of our income actually is generated through writing call options. We don't. It's not like I necessarily am pulling money out of the business or worried about whether the tenant paid the rent. It's literally, the options. So options I think are a great thing to add to your arsenal if you're an investor. I encourage you to look into it. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not investment advice, but I should be honest and tell you what's working and what's not. Let's see here. Oh, Rich the Pup says, you check in on us, we're checking in on you. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I am good. I am very good. Thank you very much for asking. Life is good. Nothing to complain about. I like to think I'm a pretty stable, mellow, relaxed type of guy. I'm big on mental health and keeping your peace. That's why that's why I don't really like talk on the phone and have a bunch of friends hovering around a bunch of BS. Like, I don't let negative energy kind of go into my space, and that keeps me actually pretty happy, pretty content. And then after that, if you get plenty of sleep and you eat right and you love a good woman and get some exercise every day, and then you can't ask for more than that. So life is good. Would you recommend first-time wealth builders focus on stock and options trading before moving into real estate? I like stocks because stocks are easy to get into. You can get into stocks today for $5. Real estate, yeah, take some time. What are some good short calls, Joey? You mean like stocks that you should short? I can't predict that part. I short, I don't short. I buy puts. And if I buy a put option basically is like insurance. It's like an insurance policy you buy that goes up in value if the stock goes down. And that saved my butt on Workhorse because Workhorse was doing really well. It had gone from, I started buying at 15, the sucker went up to 29. I mean, it was almost 100% ROI. Plus, I was writing options the whole time. I mean, it was making a killing. Well, then Workhorse ran into what I call a pregnant moment, where there was this moment where Workhorse was about to find out if they were going to receive a government contract that was going to be pretty lucrative, an $8 billion contract with the U.S. Postal Service, and they were the favorite to get the contract. But expectations don't always match realizations. What you expect to happen isn't always what actually happens. So what occurred was Workhorse didn't get the deal, but they didn't get rejected. They got a delay on the deal. The USPS came out and said, we're just not going to make a decision until the end of the year. Well, that threw Workhorse stock for like into a temper tantrum. Like that stock went from 29 to like 21. Boom. And the only thing that saved me was I had built a parachute. Right before it happened, what I did was I bought some puts and I said, let me just go ahead and pay some insurance and insure a bunch of my shares in case we have a calamity tomorrow. And I'll be damned if that sucker did not plummet like crazy. And I told Alicia, I said, you need to give me some extra kisses on my cheek because I just saved us a whole lot of money today. So, when you talk about, being financially literate and things like that, I think that should just be a fundamental skill of every black child. And it's not just investing. It's really also learning a lot about business and learning how to spot good opportunities because there are always opportunities to make money, but there's ways you navigate the system. There's ways you navigate reality. In COVID, the people that tended to do best I found were people who learned how to kind of navigate that. So there you go. So that's my 2 cents on it. So anyway, guys, I'm going to bounce on out of here. Follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. I'm streaming on Instagram with you guys right now. So follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. And I do daily financial stuff all day long. I do little videos all day to tell you what I'm seeing in the stock market or whatever. So it's a black-owned channel, and that's what we do. And we're growing. We just crossed 100,000 subscribers on the channel. We have another platform, another financial platform you might like, financialjuneteenthtv.com. Financialjuneteenthtv.com is basically where we focus more on black-owned businesses and black wealth building. We're all about supporting black-owned businesses. So if you're into supporting black-owned businesses, learning about black-owned businesses, and then learning how to start your own, things like that, financialjuneteenthtv.com is a great place to go because we cover those stories that mainstream media doesn't cover. And also every Monday night at 8 o'clock, we have actually a show. This show is called, Life's a Pitch. And we allow students in the Black Business School to come in and pitch their business for 90 seconds. And what this does is it accomplishes several goals at once. One, the students get to learn what a good pitch looks like, right? They pitch and then we critique the pitch right then. The audience critiques the pitch, so the students get a lot of feedback, which is a form of wealth. It allows the business to get better and also maybe to get financial support too. The business gets free marketing, free advertising, thousands of dollars worth of free advertising. So you go on the show, everybody sees your business. Next thing you know, you're off to the races. You're making money. That's what I always wanted to do. I didn't want to just help people start businesses. I wanted to help your businesses flourish. That's why we're not just an educational institution. We're also a media outlet. Number 3, it allows people who love black-owned businesses to support black-owned businesses and find out what other people are doing. And so what I want you to do is to participate in both sides of the economy. You see, the problem for black people economically, one of them, is that we've been imbalanced. And imbalance means that we're too far on the consumer side. We don't have enough producers. We're too far. We're usually the employees. We're not the employers. Well, I want you to participate on both sides of that, where sometimes you're a consumer of black-owned businesses, sometimes you're a producer of black-owned businesses. It's like a seesaw. On a seesaw, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, right? And whenever you go down, you help somebody go up. And when you go up, somebody else is going down to help you go up, right? That's how an economy is supposed to work. It's supposed to work like a seesaw. That's how markets work, right? So just like when you make a baby, the mommy has a job, the daddy has a job, right? The woman's womb has a job, the man's, we don't have wombs, but whatever you call that, has a job, right? So long story short, get involved in both sides of the economy, and let's create some economic fertility so that we can actually create the manifestations that we'd like to see. So feel free to subscribe. You can go to financialjuneteenth.tv.com. That's financialjuneteenth.tv.com. Where do you get insurance for stock? That was put options. Put options are a type of insurance you can buy right on the market, right on your app. So if you want to learn more about that kind of thing, we have an options program. It's blackoptionsinvesting.com. That's blackoptionsinvesting.com. If you still haven't bought your first share of stock, or you want to get more free information from the Black Business School, feel free to go to firstshareofstock.com. That's firstshareofstock.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day.